This episode is brought to you by Carvana. A date night, falling down an internet rabbit hole, that hobby you can't tell the neighbors about. Your time's valuable, and Carvana knows it. With Carvana, you can get an offer, sell your car, and get it gone 100% online. You shouldn't have to choose between time and money, so don't. Availability may vary by market. To get started, visit Carvana.com or download the app.
Blurry Hysteria. I'm Chris Cogswell, joined here by the irreplaceable and wonderful two fellows here recording alongside with me. Guys,
What are the names? What are the names? What are the names?
What are their fucking names? Oh shit! No,
you guys know them. They're these guys.
It's Dave, Flora, and Brent.
It says on the screen as he's looking at it.
I know your guys' names. Okay.
I am joined by
my good friend.
Dude. Oh,
it's
man.
Hey, man.
Hey, guy.
All right. It's been a while since I've done an episode where I can't, stop myself and be like, fuck it, redo that section, Jake. This is terrible. All right? My bad, everybody.
I'm joined by my boy and my homie here.
Right.
So
my two good friends, that guy and that dude. All right.
Now, how goes, Mr. Cogswell? And welcome back. It has been a minute or 12.
Oh my God, it's been too long. It's been too long, fellas. I'm so excited to be back. It's
Where are you living now, Chris?
Oh
no
my
shit.
God. Yeah, we now live in New Hampshire because we move every 4 months to keep the FBI off our trail.
I feel like the odd man out here because
now.
you guys are always living somewhere else and I'm not. Both of you,
dude,
moved.
it's ridiculous. I'm telling you, man. No, we live in New Hampshire now, so rural New Hampshire. We're in a town, middle of the state, basically, right on the Vermont border.
That's one of those towns that it sounds like the type of place where the devil sets up a shop and everyone in your town dies. Isn't that how that always works?
Dude,
in
yeah,
those
no, I wish, man.
Nondescript autumn area.
My wife and I are trying to be the people that set up that shop, dude. We're like, let's fucking do it.
Let's just say you don't pay with money.
Is this town exclusively run by the McMahons? Isn't that? Don't they rule New Hampshire?
Chris Cogswell out of nowhere.
They're it's so funny. We're actually right near a town where a bunch of libertarians just took over and decided to turn the town into, Atlas Shrugged style utopia or whatever. And everything is falling apart. The local newspaper is local fucking idiots ruined the school system here again because they believe in only supply side economics because they're dumb.
That's weird considering that was in the Ayn Rand Gazette. So yeah, who knew?
It's so weird. Yeah, they're like, hey, we defunded the school system to such an extent that we can't pay teachers more than $20,000 a year. Why does no one want to live here? It's
how do I reach these kids?
Dude, it's so bad. But yeah, we're having a pretty good time. I can't really complain. I really like this area because, so first off, we actually did a podcast about the house we're living in because there was a UFO sighting here. Right. We did the whole series on John Maloney and his alien encounters that happened on the hill I'm living in.
I heard about that. The Maloney Baloney.
Yeah, the Maloney Baloney. That's
which
right,
is oddly
man.
enough one of the sandwiches you can get at the local sandwich shop now.
It's so funny, dude. It's a lot of fun, and then slowly because this town is pretty. It's a big town for the area, or a big city, I guess, quote unquote city for the area, but it's a pretty small town compared to where we're coming from. Local people, friends and whatever, will be like, "Oh shit, are you the guy that does the Mad Scientist podcast?" And I'm like, man, we need to move again.
Oh no,
get out of here.
Oh no, people know what I want to do and might want to listen. Let's cheese it.
We got to torch this.
It's going to be wait a minute, this guy thinks he knows about science. Get him.
Dude,
I'm going to learn you with your fancy degrees and your readings.
I don't need science. I work hard.
I'm a real American. Look at these hands. These hands of some stupid nerd.
I tell you, I got you learning right here. My left's called trial, my right's called error. Here we go.
That's right. My right foot's called control. My left Bigfoot's called variable. Here we go.
Oh, good God. Yeah, that's basically how things have been going, though, man. It's insane.
I would love a redneck society where they all just talk a bunch of shit, but it's such like deep scientific cuts.
They're all geniuses, but they're ashamed of it.
Yeah. You idiot, you don't even believe in spooky action at a distance? What a fucking moron.
Let's get Bubba Bunsen in here. He'll latch you up.
Oh,
everybody knows the Fourier transform does not resolve to that.
All right. Everyone calm down. Someone go feed Schrodinger. He's getting hungry over there. Feed the cat.
I didn't think he was there.
I didn't think he was there. Good God. All right. Well, what an episode. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
See you later. Oh, dude. Yeah. No, it's been funny, man. So like, and also, recently, like, so I've decided I've had enough of like UFO stuff, despite what we're going to talk about here today. I'm like,
you keep saying that, and then I go, what is everyone sharing? And you send a UFO thing literally today, and I chuckled to myself. I'm like, what a closet case self-loather you are,
dude. It's so rough, dude. It's not so okay. Not that I'm out of UFO stuff. I think I'm still interested, obviously, but I think I'm done like being involved. Right? And
that's because you spend all your time on UFO Twitter reading from the fucking plebes and shit that are just like, no, you don't understand. Please believe me, and
right.
Then when they say something that is no one else agrees with, you're an asshole and fuck you, and you're trying to do scientific things and fuck that and this and that and the other. Oh, lather, rinse, repeat.
But that's the horrible thing, man. UFO Twitter is like the goddamn Ivy League of ufology.
Yeah.
All right? Those are the smart people. You know what I mean? Like, those are the people that got their shit together. All right.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, but like, those are the people everyone's listening to.
Well, that's the thing is, whether they have their shit together or not, those are the people the people are listening to.
Yeah.
Now you got NASA putting together, huge teams of research scientists, and people are like, yeah, but they're not the names that I'm used to. No,
right. Where's Eric Davis? Where's Eric Davis and all this? And it's like, Eric Davis is at community college where he's been this entire time. All right. Leave him alone.
They didn't even ask Richard Doty.
Yeah, seriously, dude. It's insane. And so what I've been doing instead is I've been doing magic.
With a K? With a K, or you're like,
K,
is this your card?
Like with a Chris Angel?
No, with a K. Yeah, no, I'm practicing
Is
card
this
tricks.
Your heavy element?
Practicing card tricks. I've been going out to the local mall. It's actually why we have to keep moving. We keep annoying too many people at the mall. They're like, this fucking idiot. Look at it. Look at his eyeliner. It's not even put on
He's
straight.
invested heavily in eyeliner and like shirts that don't button.
Yeah, I've got a lot of V-necks, real deep V-necks. And I got a belly button piercing.
He keeps ripping his shirts by doing that weird flailing arm thing every time he talks to people.
No, dude, I'm having a good time. I'm having a kind of a scary time. Scary shit's happening. Not scary shit, but like interesting shit is happening. So
yeah.
I've been having some fun. But yeah, man, UFOs ain't the way, man. We're not gonna find shit that way. So let's
you heard it here. He's out, so it's dead. It's dead to everyone. Fuck you.
It's dead to everybody. Let's go look in a wizard's butthole. Let's go, baby. I'm excited as hell. Can't wait.
I saw a Wizard's Butthole open for Slayer in '87. So
Nice.
Outside of Waterloo, Iowa, at the convention center.
My God.
Let's shifting away from Wizards' buttholes. Maybe, I don't know. David, why don't you start us this week? What story are you bringing us?
Well, I just saw this.
I said your name right. It is David, correct? Right?
Yeah.
I just didn't know because Chris has got me all confused. I don't know who the fuck you guys are. So just
dude,
sorry. That joke fell flat. Never mind.
I also want to say too, I love how Brent, you were like, Chris, since you haven't been here for a while, you're the one that's going to start the episode, and it just turned into fucking chaos. Just complete chaos.
That's perfectly fine. You did bring up Wizard's Butthole, which was our secret word of the week.
That's right. Oh, Cherry.
Poor producer Lisa's sitting in here, and I know I can hear her eyes rolling.
Is that what that sound is?
That's what that sound is.
I thought she had some beet chips on her.
That and her body drying up. You can use that information as you will.
So I saw this article come through, and it's posted on Den of Geek. com. Apparently, I think I'm late to this party, but they did a little article on Kesha, saying Kesha's paranormal journey, how the pop star became a supernatural seeker. So Kesha is now a paranormal investigator. She's got her own podcast, or at least did a podcast, like a 6-episode thing.
I'm not letting Demi Lovato get one over on me.
That was the impetus behind it.
Yeah.
And then I think she's going to be on Travel Channel soon, if she's not already. But she's going. She's like super into paranormal investigating now. And
So
said that she went to, let's see, what is someplace in West Virginia. Let me find it, because it's one of those dumb named places.
Wow.
You paint a picture with your words.
Well, I'm dumb.
Yeah, your words are your tools.
There are some crazy places in the South.
Podcasters.
Where are you from? I'm from Possum Scat, Louisiana, you know?
Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia. Which is apparently famous for its haunted reputation. And she says that she observed, after 2 days, in the last 15 minutes before they were closing up shop, she observed a creeping entity moving up the body of her cameraman, and then he screamed, and they take his shirt off, and it's all scratched up, all up and down the back.
Now, there is footage of this that blows the lid off of investigations forever, because this is the missing link that proves this, or they just couldn't get it because it was out of range.
Since it happened to the cameraman, I'm guessing that they do not have footage of it.
You always got a camera on the camera with a camera on that camera.
Very convenient that they did not have someone filming a raccoon jump up this guy's back.
Who knew that you could get rabies from a ghost?
Kesha always kinds of looks like she just got out of a haunted asylum, so I get it. Do you also think that she is trying to gain the necromantic power to revive her career from the dead?
Ooh, ouch.
She started out on reality shows, so it makes sense to go back to them and shit like that. I guess she was on the stuff with Paris Hilton. She was on one of those shows.
Oh, yeah.
And then got a career. Tell you what, she's got more hit songs than I do.
No, that's the thing. So I don't have anything against Kesha, actually. I think she's had, she had a hard time with producers and stuff, with sexual allegations and controlling crap. Mm-hmm. I don't think she was treated very well at the height, at her first height, let's say, of her career. But I do respect, she apparently writes all of her songs, or at least has a hand in writing each one. So I think that's rare these days.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against Kesha. It's interesting. This was more for us to talk about celebrities getting into this world.
Yeah, it seems like that's
about.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I feel like it seems like that's the go-to now, where maybe kind of Chris was alluding to this. Maybe it's not, they're sliding a little bit, or they're not doing anything. So, Rob Lowe, well, we might as well go start doing this, or the Kesha, or the Demi Lovato. And there's nothing against them, because guess what? They're not any more or less, qualified than us yahoos doing it, in one way or another, just because they're interested. But it does, unfortunately, and this is a biased opinion, feel disingenuous somehow, and that's wrong, but it does. To me.
I know what, excuse me. I know what you're getting at. I know what you mean. I always hate it when I see a celebrity come out with a podcast, because I'm like, podcasts are for independent people. Like, anybody can do a podcast. Great. That's one of the pros of it. But at the same time, one of the cons is anybody can do a podcast.
Right.
And if a celebrity gets out there and starts putting out, then it's like, hey, us, independent podcasters who are just struggling and trying to make content for people and trying to do something nice and fun and good, and usually for others, we have to then be put in the same ballpark as these mega celebrities.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that always just sat really poorly with me. And it's also very much whining. So I realize that too.
You guys are trying to do good with your podcasts?
No. We're actually trying to do evil.
To disintegrate. I was going to say, I'm actively trying to disintegrate society from the inside.
You don't think that's good?
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I know. I get it, Flora, though. Like, it is really frustrating. I mean, the thing with these shows and whatever, right? Like, yeah, like Brent was saying, Kesha, Demi Lovato, like any celebrity who's like into this stuff, fucking cool, man. Like, yeah, get out there, right? But I mean, I know the three of us try. I mean, not that we're celebrities or whatever, right? We're like, you have to go from the whatever, Z list all the way to like the Phoenician alphabet to get to where we sit, right? But
mine's still in a cave waiting to be discovered.
Yeah. I like to try to bring up people who I think are doing cool stuff and have them on our show or like help them out, retweet them, whatever. I know you guys do the same thing. I mean, you guys helped my show when we first started out that way tremendously. Right. So, I think the one thing I would love to see from these sorts of, big figures like that is if you're going to get involved in this kind of stuff, bring on somebody who's been doing it kind of in the shadows for a long time. You know what I mean?
But they do that. That's why a lot of those yahoos have their own yahoos. That's not what I mean. But how many of them have their own Bigfoot show or things like that? I think it's easier for a production company to bring on one of these people because they have instant fan base.
Exactly. Yeah. You're always going to get the Kesha heads to watch the Kesha show, right?
Or people like us who might be interested in the paranormal and like, oh, what's Kesha got to say about this?
Hey, I'm going to tell you this right now.
It's like an oddity.
Kesha's got a song about having sex in a Trans Am, and I have 2 Trans Ams, so I'm okay with her. By God.
Dude, I honestly, like, I think I like Kesha, like, plenty. You know what I mean? Like, I got no problem with Kesha, whatever. It's just, like, again, it's sort of a weird thing. But at the same time, though, right? That's one thing that really frustrates me when we hear from people who are like, yeah, but look at all these serious people who are into this, or all these famous people who are into this stuff. It's like, yeah, they grew up with the same shit we did. Like, you don't think Kesha watched the X-Files? You know what I mean? Like, Of course she did. Yeah. She saw all the same media we did that got us interested. So it makes total sense that, like, people who grew up in the same generation as us, or like, who became maybe, in positions that are considered more powerful and important than podcasting, which I just don't agree with. We're the most important people in the universe. But like, it makes total sense. Like, I bet AOC has watched the X-Files and probably has opinions on aliens. You know what I mean? Like, they all fucking do. It's just
sure.
Normal.
Sure.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Anyways, all right.
Hey, we're going to go to break real quick, and because we got to get one of those in. When we come back, we're going to argue about more things. It'll be fun. We're going to yell. It's back to the Kesha fuck you hour. Right after this on Mad Blurry Hysteria.
Hey, listeners of the Mad Scientist podcast, Chris here. The holidays are quickly approaching, and finding a gift for everyone on your list can be really hard. But Bombas makes it easy with socks, underwear, and t-shirts that feel good and do good. They feel good because they're thoughtfully designed with the softest materials, and they do good because for every item you purchase, Bombas donates another to someone in need. Finding gifts for everyone can be a real challenge, especially for your relatives who maybe aren't as enthralled by crystal samples or books on astral projection. Snobs. But one thing everyone loves is getting cozy, and if you can do some good for someone not as fortunate at the same time, then all the better. Bombas socks, underwear, t-shirts, and slippers are cozy upgrades to everyday basics, and the perfect gift for everyone on your list, including yourself. And did you know that socks, underwear, and t-shirts are the 3 most requested clothing items in homeless shelters? That's why Bombas donates 1 item for every item you buy. So far, Bombas has donated over 75 million items of clothing. That's a whole lot of comfort and a whole lot of good. So give the good this holiday season with Bombas. Go to bombas.com/scientist and use code SCIENTIST for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/scientist using code SCIENTIST for 20% off. bombas.com/scientist with code SCIENTIST. Thank you so much for supporting our sponsors and for helping do a little bit more good around the world this holiday season.
On the morning of August 1st, 1966, shots ring out from the observation deck of the clock tower on the University of Texas campus. It marks the infamous beginning of the modern era of mass shootings in America.
You're listening to Stop the Killing podcast. Join us as we take you behind the crime scene tape to explain global mass shootings and mass attacks. I'm Sarah Ferris, but more importantly, this is Catherine Schweit, the former head of the FBI's active shooter program.
I spent 5 years as the FBI's top executive looking for answers to the mass shooting crisis. I've been at the shooting scenes, I've traced heroic acts of bravery, and I've sat silently and listened to the heart-wrenching stories from survivors.
Amongst this horror, there is hope. We all hold the key to stop the killing. You just need to know how to unlock the door. Download Stop the Killing and be part of the solution. Search Stop the Killing on Apple, Spotify, and all the usual suspects.
I just wanted to yell, we're back! Mr. Cogswell, why don't you hit us with whatever craziness you've brought to us this week?
All right.
Which you already said is aliens that you hate.
I hate aliens. No, so this is the funny thing, right? This one is really cool, I think, actually. So it's the Varginha UFO incident, right? Now, the reason I'm bringing this up...
misspelled in Virginia.
Dude, it looks like when... Did you guys watch Kroll Show?
Yeah.
All right. When like the characters like, yarn when they say yes instead of, like the rich douches or whatever, it sounds like the way they would say vagina. Right? Yeah. Oh, you're a vagina.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what it sounds like. So anyways, it's a really interesting thing. And the reason I bring it up is because James Fox, this like a documentary filmmaker kind of guy, he made The Phenomenon, right, which is a documentary sort of about UFO and UAP stuff and whatever in the modern age. And then he recently got the rights, I guess, to putting out a documentary on this same case, the Varginha, whatever case. And so
I like the way you say it.
The movie is called Moment of Contact, the Roswell of Brazil. And it's actually a really cool case. And I think it's honestly going to end up becoming like one of those UFO cases that we all talk about for a long time. Now, this story has everything. It has a funny name, right? It's got aliens. So here's the story.
Just full stop. You had me at funny name. Full stop.
I know, it's great, right? So here's what happened, right? So three women, right? They're like 14 to 22 years old. They're two sisters and a friend are kind of walking home in a really bad rainstorm. They then see a creature sitting in kind of a weird position, and it's kind of moving back and forth, right? Now, they said he was about 5 feet tall. He had a big head, super thin body, weird kind of feet. He had brownish skin, and his eyes looked large and red. All right. They then run back home. The sisters run back home, and they tell their mom, "Listen, we just saw the devil." And the mom's like,
"That's not the devil. Chances are it's just a demon, baby."
Yeah. So she's like, "Don't be stupid. You didn't see the devil. You saw something scary." She goes back. She smells a strong odor like ammonia, and then doesn't find anything else. Except there's a dog hanging around being like, "What the hell is that smell?" And she sees some footprints, right? This story then starts to spread like wildfire, basically. And it starts to get like all over the town. And the rumor starts to spread that like there was a UFO sighting at the same time. The military came. The military took the creature away. People found another creature dead in a ditch someplace, right? These military people are all going around, whatever. Animals are dying mysteriously, all this other stuff. so it turns into this like modern day big mythology, right? This really crazy kind of thing. And so, finally and this is recently too. This is recent. This is 1996, right?
Yeah.
The government of Brazil
4 years ago.
The government of Brazil finally looks into it in 2010. And they say, listen, what you saw was a local crazy guy named Mudino.
Old Red Eyes Magino.
And dude, if
ammonia butt Magino.
If I show you guys the photo versus like the sketch that they did of the way that this guy sat, it looks exactly like this.
Oh, no shit. So it really is like
totally this guy.
It's totally the guy.
It's totally Medina, right?
Do you have the photo handy?
Yeah. Here, I'll
share it in Messenger. Show it in Messenger, and I'll post it with the stuff when we release this.
It's hilarious, right? So it's like totally this guy who did it,
who just hurt himself a bunch.
Well, yeah, it's just
for the ammonia.
It's just this kind of crazy. Well, it's just this homeless guy who hasn't taken a bath in like probably months.
Wait, didn't he just die?
Mudino?
The dirtiest man in the world.
Oh God. Maybe.
Same guy.
Same guy, Mudino. Yeah. So it's really interesting, right? And so I think the story at this point now, the story is kind of like taken on its own. It's taken on its own thing, right? Because James Fox got involved in everything else, and now, what has started happening, is like all of the stuff that the government's saying, right? Because again, this rumor spreads, right? So first it's that they saw this one alien in the street or this thing they didn't see. They got frightened. They ran back home, and it's this smelly homeless guy, who's like clearly
fuck. It does. It's sitting just like that guy. You're right,
dude. Yeah, it looks just like him. He's got a giant head. He's super skinny because he's probably starving to death because I can't imagine
his limbs actually look elongated because of that too.
Yeah. Dude, it's just like a shitty story like about like they should have better social services in the city, right? But then like it keeps going and going, right? So now people are claiming like, but no, we saw bodies in the hospital, and the hospital is saying you guys just saw two dwarfs who were married who were going to give birth to a kid. Right? Like it's fucked up. Like everything about this story is insane.
I love the website that you sent to because it's got like ads. One of them's like, Lily from AT&T bears it all. Want to see her boobies?
I know, right?
And then inside edition of the week, Dr. Phil. You're like, what is this website?
It's also like all in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like not exactly like it's not easy, right? But it is very, very interesting. And so I think the reason I wanted to bring it up really is because now with Moment of Contact and all of these other things, it's like it has become part of like US UFO lore now that this is like a really serious case we all have to take advantage of. Right?
And it takes you like 13 seconds to at least throw a huge wrench into that whole thing if you just read the real story.
and look, who knows what these girls saw? Maybe it was an alien, right? But like this dude who's known to like hang out in ditches in this neighborhood looking all creepy and red-eyed.
Oh, Ditchy McGee.
Probably like a good thing, right? And so this case is really coming to the forefront, becoming really important. And there's another case that's coming up now too, similar kind of area, time, and everything else, that's in Beaufort. And so that one is, I think, really going to be quite interesting.
You heard it here first. He's done with ufology. Oh,
come on. No one is going to take. Come on, guys. I desperately need somebody to say, what is Beaufort?
I know. What is Beaufort?
God damn it. God damn it.
I almost made it was like, sounds like the Euripides, Eumenides. Yeah, no. We were both smarter than that, I think.
I'm so upset. I'm so upset right now in myself for trying to make that joke happen.
I think you can find Beaufortese at Updog.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But seriously, though, I think it's a really interesting case. It's interesting how it just spreads, right? And again,
and they tell two friends. And they tell two friends.
Well, exactly, right? And so, one of the things that brought it really up to me recently was there's now people on Twitter being like, yo, this is a picture of the Varginha UFO body, right? And it's like clearly like a prop. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's clearly from like an alien movie. But now this stuff is going to get everywhere. So like you heard it here first, folks. You're going to hear about this case all the effing time now. And Mudino isn't going to get any money from any of it.
Right.
Which is horseshit, right? He should start selling t-shirts.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, there is a chance somebody could see it and be like, hey, let's help this dude out.
Right. You know, like the man with the golden voice. You know that? Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's usually a reason people are, I don't know, smelling like ammonia, living in ditches.
That's probably not great. Well, so that's the other thing too that people take.
Lawyer screwed me. Sorry.
That's the other thing people take to be really interesting about this is that ammonia smell is like really common actually with gray aliens.
Yeah.
When people report gray alien sightings, they always report the smell of ammonia. And so that was another thing that like the minute that they said, if they had said that this guy smelled like anything else, right? He smells like, 7-week unwashed ass.
Well, I thought you were going to say when you're saying, because they thought they saw the devil, I thought you were going to say she smelled sulfur. Or burned egg, that egg smell.
Well, so that's the other thing though, right? If this had been a town that was a little bit more religious and less less into UFOs, like
it might have went that way.
Exactly. Like we totally would be talking about this as like an alien, or not an alien, but like a demonic event, which is still reported pretty frequently in South America and other highly kind of Judeo-Christian religious areas. So anyways, I just thought it was super interesting.
Cool. Very
Brent,
cool.
what do you got this week?
All right. So this one comes from Jay Sotomayor of the Project Skeptic podcast. He's been great. He sends us a lot of these, and this is a cool story, but I think as time goes by and you understand in a second here, we're going to hear more and more about this because of the way we fucked this planet. He sends us, this is from a local news story. Special team of divers searching Allegheny River find 100 cars hoping to close cold cases. Because as these rivers are receding, as we've seen all over the place, especially outside of Vegas, all sorts of things are coming up, and there's drums with bodies in it and stuff like that. And organized crime, here's a quote from the article. Organized crime from over the years of car dumping and so forth can really be the only thing that could explain so many cars within such a region. That's what one of the local law enforcement people said. So they're going through each one, looking for leads and looking for bodies, and they're finding them.
Crazy.
And you have to make some assumptions after 9 years that maybe he's not with us anymore. So you never really get that closure talking about the people. That was a quote from one of the persons who's like, they're helping because they want to know, is my son or my daughter there? Were they killed? What happened to them? And some of these places are so hard to search. And then with the way that our waters are receding because of, different things that we've done to the environment, all of a sudden, without divers in some of the places, things are just becoming exposed. And I wanted to bring this one up because, man, you guys have heard about that stuff with the Lake Mead, especially, right? They've already found several bodies, and they literally in like 55-gallon drums. One of them was like still dressed. The skeleton in there looked like the 1970s. Like, well, this has been here for a while, and they have no idea where it is. It's just a weird time to be in law enforcement and be like, all right, let's go comb the river again and let's go close some cold cases.
Dude, it's so weird. It reminds me a lot too of those like on Long Island recently, not that recently I guess, but like maybe like 10 years ago, just like feet started washing up on the shore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were like, oh shit, there must be a serial killer. And it's like, why? I mean, why do we assume it's a serial killer? Like it could just be, like bodies. I don't know, the barrels that the mob put the bodies in have disintegrated. And now the feet are just,
so it makes sense. So
whatever.
So we did an episode on this and it's really actually makes sense. It didn't used to happen, and all of a sudden now it does happen. People die in the water all the time, and things that wash in where these feet, which are always in shoes, are washing up, is where everything washes up, because there is the stuff that they make shoes with now is buoyant. And when a body sinks, the small tendons and things are the first things that the fish and other creatures eat at, because it's easiest to eat through, like your ankles and your wrists and things like that. Well, that stuff gets eaten, but the shoe with the foot still in it pops up because it's buoyant, comes in, and there you have the feet. So, like, science has kind of described it. It's not nearly as crazy or interesting as it is just a weird phenomenon because of the way they've changed the way shoes are made now.
We've got our best dead people feet scientist on the case.
You know,
that's right. They're putting their best foot forward.
You goddamn right. You turn your kink into a career.
Your best foot forward. Oh my
Do you guys think that people just want to be terrified 24/7?
I think it's easier to go with, yeah, right? Like, it's easier for some people to go the horror route than it is to think that it could be something normal. I mean, normal might be not the way to put it, but you know what I mean by that. Like, I think that's
something
why
not
people are
crazy.
Right. That's why true crime's such a huge thing. And, you know, we got murder porn on Investigation Discovery, same as. And maybe it's a better them than me, and I can outsmart them or something. I don't know. I don't know what the human condition is that causes that.
I think honestly, to some extent, because we've actually had some interviews with this guy. I can't think of his name now, but
Charles Manson.
Was it? Manson.
It was John something Gacy.
Something horrible tattoos. That's all I remember.
No, it's horrible tattoos. Anyways, we had a researcher come on the show and talk to us about this, and his specialty is morbid curiosity, right? Like the drive for humans. I think his first name is Connor. But anyways, the drive for humans to like be interested in stuff like that, right? Or interested in like horror movies and serial killer stuff and whatever. And honestly, part of it, I wonder, is if it's not that, if it's something like a serial killer or whatever, it is more comforting that it is something aberrant than if it was just normal for feet to be washing up on the shore.
Yeah,
you know
almost.
I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
If it's just like, you know, if it's just like a part of everyday life that like people get murdered and end up, or they just die in the water, they end up there, it makes it seem like it's common enough that it could happen to you. But if it's a serial killer, it's like you have some control over that, you think, right? You're like, well, I'm not, you know, this serial killer only goes out. It's like with what's his name? Son of Sam, when he was going after people in New York, women started dyeing their hair because he was only going after a certain hair color is what they thought initially. Right. It's like kind of the same thing. Like you think you have some control over it, but when in reality you don't. Like bad stuff just happens, you know, to people, and it's an uncomfortable fact of life, but it's something, you know, we all kind of have to get used to.
But then you got the flip side of that too. You think of like these serial killers or these murderers in prison, and the men and women that write them to be pen pals and marry them and things like that. It kind of blows my mind. And I know there's that Lonely Hearts Club aspect to it, but
the Beatles?
But doesn't it feel like there's also like a I Tamed the Beast feel to that or something like that, or there's a danger or something?
I think there's got to be some kind of satisfaction in confirming what you fear or what you think about that. There's something like, you know, if you think, oh, all this bad stuff's out there, I'm going to change behavior so that I try to either avoid it or not have it affect my life. When you find out, or I guess when you think that there's all this bad stuff, you kind of have this satisfaction of, well, my fears are confirmed, therefore, you know, I don't know if it's like this is that means I'm intelligent because I know, you know, better, or I don't know. There's some kind of confirmation satisfaction in that. I think very poorly.
Or maybe people are crazy.
It.
Maybe people are crazy.
I mean, that's just a dismissive way to say it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so I don't mean to get like too real here or whatever, but I also think too, like a lot of people, like I know personally, like from my own childhood, whatever, a lot of people, I think, have like pretty significant trauma that they've gone through, and reading stories about like serial killers or murderers or whatever, people that like just go crazy and like fucking go on a spree or whatever. It's like you read those stories and you're kind of like, man, that like I had a similar upbringing, or I
So it's the sharing of the experience?
Almost like the sharing of the experience, but also sort of like not testing the boundaries of the water, but being like, but for the grace of God, like I would have been like this person. You know what I mean? Or I could have ended up like I feel that way a lot when I watch like shows on like addiction, right? Like intervention or whatever.
Like how close were you to that becoming your reality kind of thing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like flirting with that whole like I escaped or
maybe
something
feeling that you're lucky for not having.
Right. Well, the escape. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's also part of part of it is that same thing like you guys are saying of, hey, you know what? I got out of this. Maybe maybe I can bring this person some kind of comfort or something. The problem with someone who is as damaged as a serial killer or someone like that is that they're part of the thing that happened to them that didn't happen to you was the complete loss of empathy. Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so it's like, there is no, the fact that you, even despite all the trauma and whatever can look back and say, man, I'm lucky I got out of that. That was pretty rough. That never occurs to someone like that. You know what I mean?
Was they were talking to, I think his name, I might get it wrong, Richard Kuklinski. He was the Iceman. He was the mafia guy. They figure he killed like 100 people at least. He talked about like when the one guy in the interviews with him said that he was gonna like kill his family, and he like felt bad because he didn't want his daughter to die, and that bothered him because it was his first time in his life he'd ever felt feelings for another human being.
Yeah, dude.
That bothered him, feeling empathy, because he had never felt it before. That's fucked up. And that's why he was such a case study is like, how'd that make you feel? I felt hungry. Like whatever, like, anything.
Yeah. What do you mean by feel? Like, what
right.
So. Totally, dude. It's crazy. So I don't know. Anyways, me and Eileen Warnos are going to be very happy together. And I don't care what you guys say about our marriage.
Living in the Mississippi Delta by 3 fucking months from now, or wherever.
yeah. Oh boy. It's I don't know, man. The world is fucked, But anyways, there is cool stuff though.
So we're saying we're doing understatements now. I understand. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, we're doing our superhero names.
All right, guys. So if you guys want to hear your stories, email them weird@hysteria51.com. We'll get them to all of us. We share that so you can get your stories in, and we'll give you a shout out if you want to give your name. A lot of people do, and they say, don't say my name. Because I don't know, I always just think it's probably something to do with like witness protection. That's the only explanation that makes any sense to me. But yeah, weird@hysteria51.com. Get them in, and we're gonna have a blast with them. And thanks, huge one to Chris for coming back on. Hopefully, you can do this more often when you're not. I don't know. Speaking of witness protection, if that is your real name, Dr. Cogswell.
Listen, I'm back and better than ever. I got a little spot now where I can podcast. We hopefully won't move for another 6 months.
It's a closet, and it's got a door this time.
It's great.
All right, kids. So we'll see you next time on Mad Blurry Hysteria.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.
On the morning of August 1st, 1966, shots ring out from the observation deck of the clock tower on the University of Texas campus. It marks the infamous beginning of the modern era of mass shootings in America.
You're listening to Stop the Killing podcast. Join us as we take you behind the crime scene tape to explain global mass shootings and mass attacks. I'm Sarah Ferris, but more importantly, this is Catherine Schweit, the former head of the FBI's active shooter program.
I spent 5 years as the FBI's top executive looking for answers to the mass shooting crisis. I've been at the shooting scenes, I've traced heroic acts of bravery, and I've sat silently and listened to the heart-wrenching stories from survivors.
Amongst this horror, there is hope. We all hold the key to stop the killing. You just need to know how to unlock the door. Download Stop the Killing and be part of the solution. Search Stop the Killing on Apple, Spotify, and all the usual suspects.